Hey folks, we do a lot of hyping of popular fragrances here on YouTube. Typically what happens is a few people will start to talk about a fragrance where there's a new launch or something that generates interest. We hear our fellow peers here on YouTube talking about something and the rest of us get FOMO and we want to try it too. And so lots of times that's how something ends up making the rounds, or something may be sent out in PR to a lot of fragrance reviewers by a certain brand. And so you hear a lot about it at that point in time too. I thought I'd take a break from the usual popular fragrances to share with you what I consider to be 10 sort of hidden, underrated gems that I don't hear talked about on channels really at all. There's one that got a little bit of shine a while ago, and that was it, and then nobody talked about it anymore. And I have an honorable mention as well. These are fragrances that I think deserve some light, some shine, some sunshine, a moment of glory. One of my very favorite recommendations in the hidden gem category is called Sparkle from Kate Spade. This is the smaller bottle. I like the bigger bottle because the cap has this beautiful gold banding on it, and the spade on it, the little traditional spade symbol, is also gold on that bigger bottle. I actually took this on a work trip with me. It's not a traditional office scent, but there was something appealing about it at the moment that I was selecting something to travel with that made me grab for this. And because I had a smaller bottle, I was able to just, wrap it in bubble wrap and take it with me. This is probably one of the most traditionally feminine, girly scents in my collection. It has this beautiful powdery aspect. The notes in here that give it sweetness are black currant. There's a gorgeous peony type of floral in it. There's this almond-like texture. I believe that comes from a hawthorn note. And in the base, the notes listed on the website are vanilla creme brulee. So there's this sort of gourmand sweetness, this vanillic deep sweetness, and a little bit of woodiness in it. It does have a feminine powdery aspect to it. And I think this comes on, I would say, a little bit on the sort of medium to strong end when you first spray it. And then it settles down into just this really beautiful, girly, very, very like almost cotton candy-esque girly type of fragrance on you. It's one that you would wear when you want to feel pretty. It's not a traditional office scent, but I appreciate that it's an inviting and cozy and pretty scent, and an easy wear, and one that I think would be probably mass appealing. The other thing I wanted to do with these fragrances is to make sure that they are widely available right now as I'm presenting them to you. So sometimes I'll feature hidden gems that are more difficult to acquire. You'll have to hunt them down on eBay or Mercari or Facebook groups or something like that. All of the fragrances today are available online. So this one, I would say, has a moderate projection and moderate longevity, although I will say I sprayed my clothes with it and I could smell it on my clothing well into the evening in a very light way. But in terms of the perfume giving on skin, I applied it at about 7 in the morning, and I would say at around the 2 o'clock-ish mark, it started to really fade back and be hard to detect. So I say try Fragrance Net for this one. It's listed on there for about $41 for the big bottle, the 3.4 ounce. It's also available, you all, on Ulta Beauty and on Macy's and in other places. So this is cute. This is one that I will likely repurchase when this bottle runs out, and I'll get the big bottle because it's one of those staple pretty girl fragrances, a little bit generic in its prettiness, but you can't go wrong with it. This is really nice, and folks don't talk about this, and it's got good performance, you all. Again, when I say good performance, I mean moderate at least, right? It doesn't, for me, have to go into the evening hours for me to consider it good performance. Next is my fragrance of the day, and one that I purchased in the recent Sephora sale. You know I did a couple of hauls in that sale. If you're interested in seeing everything I got, I have a video on my other channel, Essential Veronica, where I review everything in the 3 separate hauls that I participated in during this recent sale. This one is from I believe it's a hair company, and the company is called Ceremonia. The perfume is Perfume de la Tierra, perfume of the land is what that translates into. I appreciate that this bottle is a bit different. Perhaps it's not the most aesthetically pleasing in comparison to some of the other ones I'm going to show you today, but I like that it's different, both the color of the actual glass and this wooden cap on it. So this fragrance is available on Sephora for $65, and it is, I think, a 1.7 ounce, maybe a little bit bigger than a 1.7 ounce. It's also available on the Ceremonia website. I've never shopped for any of the hair products. If you have, let me know what you think. This, for me, is a fragrance that you have to enjoy earthy, woody scents for this. So I think of this more in a youthful category. I can't see a lot of women my age, I'm in my very, very late 40s, enjoying a fragrance like this. But it's one that when I was in my 20s and in my 30s, I would have gravitated to heavily. And I do enjoy it. Now, I like these kinds of fragrances, but it's a very earthy, woody fragrance with a little bit of hint of peachy tone in the background. It opens up a little bit spicy and herbal, pink pepper, bergamot, basil. And as it starts to dry down, some of the peach starts to come out as sort of a backdrop to the fragrance. But the base of it is what stands out most to me. Tonka bean, vetiver, driftwood. And it has this earthiness that none of the notes would lead you to understand. So think about what earth smells like after rain, that kind of smell with a lovely woodiness. I would even say this has a touch of what smells like a little bit of patchouli. But yeah, earthy. If for those of you that like Aveda scents, I talk about Aveda a lot on this channel because I'm an Aveda fanatic. The smell that you get when you walk into those spas, that spa oil herbal type of smell, imagine that with wet earth together is what this fragrance is giving me. Nice, decent longevity, not the best in terms of the longevity, and it's been criticized for that in reviews. And I would say that the projection is moderate, like a nice little personal scent bubble. The price is very appealing, as I mentioned, and no one talks about this. So check this one out if you're an earthy spa smell girly or guy. Next is the fragrance that made me want to film a video like this. I believe I talked about this in my October Fragrance Awards, if I remember correctly. This is from Michael Malul. This is 173 Candy in a new bottle. I think this was released before in a plainer bottle. I much prefer these bottles. Beautiful ombre design with this sort of ambery gold up here and the pink on the bottom, which gives you a sense of what this fragrance smells like. Another pretty girly fragrance. However, this one is in the Your Skin But Better category. So for those of you that like Another 13, if you like Glossier You, if you like Skin by Clean Reserve, those types of musky fragrances that sit close to the skin and almost like amplify what you would think a beautiful natural skin smell would feel like and smell like. Here you go, except in a much more girly direction. Some of those fragrances can be a little bit more woody. This one is a very pretty, again, has a similar sort of cotton candy-esque nature as Sparkle from Kate Spade. And by the way, this is available on the Michael Malul website. And are you 100 mils? Yes, it's 100 mils for $110. And if you're a first-time purchaser on that site, you'll get a pop-up for a 20% off coupon. Use it. Or it's also available on Fragrance Net, I think, what do we have here, for about $89 for the full bottle. Fully worth the $110, by the way. I would purchase this again. I have really enjoyed this. This is not a big projector, a huge performer. This is for you to enjoy and for whoever hugs you to enjoy as well. Some of the notes on the top, sheer citrus. I can't say I get a whole lot of that clean citrus type of scent. Quince. What I really get is some of the mid and the base. Jasmine, a really, really soft blend of jasmine and rose. You can't distinguish one or the other. So for those of you that are not jasmine fans, worry not. You're not going to be able to pick it out. Mostly in the base, amber and vanilla and a beautiful soft musk. There are other notes, but I would say this is like a very soft, sweet, subtle musk that makes you feel super feminine and put together. Like you came out of the shower just smelling goddess-like and sweet and fresh with a little bit of muskiness, not a super strong musk. Absolutely delightful. One that you can overspray. In fact, I would suggest overspraying if you want to have a good scent bubble on this. I feel like when I put this on, it was maybe like at arm's length for the majority of the time. And then at the end of performance came in closer, as many fragrances do. And it just settles so nicely. And it's like you feel like your best feminine natural self without the perfume defining who you are. In other words, it kind of complements your natural self. Really a hidden gem, and would say get your hands on it if you like those Your Skin But Better types of fragrances and you want something in the more girly direction, because a lot of those tend to be a little bit woody or heavier on the musk. I would say this is featuring the sweet notes, the very feminine notes, more than the musk and the woodiness. Next up, from a brand that I've explored a bit more this year, and I posted a video where I tried the discovery set of this, and I ended up purchasing, well, the brand is called Nette, And I ended up purchasing Rose Parade, which is another hidden gem, but I've given that one a bit of shine here on the channel. So I wanted to share Thé Vanille from this brand. This is 50 mils, 1.7 ounce, and it goes for 120 at retail. I got it in the Sephora sale for 20% off. I'm not super in love with these bottles. I think that the proportions of the cap and the shape of the cap compared to the base is a little goofy. I might have preferred just a straight up and down cap instead of this shape, which is, what do you call this? A trapezoid? I did well in geometry, but I don't remember. Is that what that's called? Okay. I love that this is, well, the website calls it a salty vanilla. And after reading that, I agree. Before that, I would have called it a tea and vanilla fragrance with a heaping dose of warmth. This is one of those melt into your skin fragrances that becomes like a second sensual skin for you. It's matcha tea. There's orris in the fragrance, vanilla, a little pink pepper. The site says cedarwood. I can't say that I pick up a whole lot of woodiness in the fragrance. For me, it's more the tea, the vanilla, this warmth. Now that I know to smell for the saltiness, I get it. Yes, I guess this is a little bit salty. It calls it mineral. Mineral is a bit extreme. I feel like this is a soft, sensual second skin. I took a travel spray of this to Vegas. My hubby loved it on me at bedtime. So there you go. One of those like cozy under your sweater, wear around the house, wear on date night when you're going to be sitting close to each other and being intimate type of scent. I think I talked about this next fragrance in my marshmallow video because there's a marshmallow musk note in the fragrance that stands out for me. This is from Stephanie Ledda, who is a YouTuber that was mostly in the makeup space, but she does a variety of type of content on her channel now, and I've been watching her for many years. This is 22 Orris from the brand Ledda, her last name. You can only get this on the website, and it's $98 for, I think this is 1.7 ounce. And I would pay it all over again. In fact, I just ordered her new fragrance, lies I tell, 18 Vanilla Nera, which is supposed to be this dark, sexy vanilla. And she posted a video about that. So I've ordered that and it's on the way. This fragrance is another, I feel like I have a lot of girly fragrances, but I got some other ones coming up here for y'all that I cannot say are girly. This one is. This is so pretty and sheer and warm and delicate, and I adore it. The bottle is neat too. It's not the most spectacular bottle, but for a first release from a new brand at that price point, I'm happy with the bottle. Beautiful pear note at the top, a little bit of pink pepper, some soft, delicate white florals. The white florals are an accompaniment. I wouldn't call this a white floral fragrance. For those of you that are not floral lovers, this might be one that you can tolerate and enjoy. As this settles down, you get more of this very sort of iris note, a creaminess, there's sandalwood, and that marshmallow musk that I think characterizes the base. So I would describe this as being more on the fluffy end of fragrances. There's a little bit of like wispiness to it. It's also whimsical. It's very sweet. I could see this being appropriate for so many different age groups, from young ladies who are just starting all the way through our very mature years. It's appropriate for all of that and for all occasions. This is another one that I often think about taking on work trips when I want to amplify my feminine aspects, if you will, without choking out a room. Because I got some beautiful feminine fragrances that will choke out a room. This one is on the softer end. Along those lines, the performance on this is moderate. This is not super long lasting, so you'd probably have to top off midday with this, but I think it's worth it. And I'm so interested in trying 18 Vanilla Nera. Can't wait for that one to arrive. So here's one I've heard absolutely no one mention, and I think it's just a little gem of a fragrance, especially as we get into very cool weather and snow starts to fall here at some point. Do you get snow? Did you get snow already? I'm in Central Virginia, and we might get snow the end of December into January, and sometimes all the way through March and maybe early April if it's a crazy year. But we don't get it a lot. We might get 2 or 3 snowfalls a year if we're lucky. I love a good snow. I love when the snow first falls. Hello, who doesn't love when the snow first falls and blankets all of the land? And everything is sort of rounded out. There are no harsh edges in the landscape. Everything, even like the harshness of cars, the lines of cars and vehicles, get smoothed out by a heavy first snow. And that is what this is called, first snow. This is from a watch company. I think it's a watch company, Victorinox. And I actually purchased this off of Joma Shop. I have a link below for Joma Shop if you'd like to shop through there. This is, I think, 19 some odd dollars, under $20 for this entire 100 ml bottle on Joma Shop. You can also shop right on the Victorinox site if you prefer that. There it is, $85 for the bottle, which I still think is a good price for what you get here. Big old bottle. The color of the bottle gives you a sense of what this smells like, although I wish it was more ombre effect with whiter on top. I think that would have really nailed what this smells like. This is for my folks that love a fresh smell in the winter. You know, when we think about winter smells, we tend to think of heavy smells with a lot of vanilla, a lot of amber, a lot of spices, maybe woodiness, maybe even heavy patchouli. This is for those of you that are sick of the traditional winter types of smells, but you still want something with some presence that isn't your typical spring and summer smell. Here you go. Beautiful white tea and eucalyptus at the top. So you immediately get this sense of a very sort of soft spa-like smell at the very opening of the fragrance. So think about the peace that falls over the land when you have that first beautiful snow that blankets everything. That's the feeling that you get from the top notes in this fragrance. As it starts to settle down, one of the key notes is a lovely, very soft, non-offensive, easy to wear white musk vanilla, a little hint of orange absolute in the fragrance. So I really like that this is a fragrance that stays clean smelling and easy to wear. It's very unisex, although I think it's one of those fragrances that if worn by ladies would have feminine aspects, and if worn by gentlemen could be seen as a little bit more masculine. So it maybe is a little bit of a chameleon in that sense. But you guys, I think this is probably the most gem and most hidden out of all the ones that I'm sharing with you today, and especially for that killer price on Joma Shop of under $20. Goodness gracious, you can't beat that. I would say moderate longevity and a little bit of projection off of you, especially when you first spray it on. There's that sort of clean, it's eucalyptus and tea, but it gives off almost like this minty, you know, very sort of sparkling feeling when it first hits your skin and projects off. And then that starts to blend in, like I said, with that vanilla and the musk to soften down into this beautiful, another sort of your skin, but better fragrance. Like maybe a more spa version of this one, which is very girly. This one is more in like the clean, sparkling spa direction. Really neat, and I love the name of the fragrance, First Snow. Next, I want to talk about an indie perfumer. This is an independent house, also niche, meaning that's all that this guy makes. And he has an account on Instagram that's super fun to follow. He's got some great little reels, younger guy. It's called For the Scent of It, and you can go to forthescentofit.com. And he's got samples on there if you want to check it out. I've tried a lot from the house and really enjoyed most of what I have tried. So this one is called Tobacco Pod. This is 30 mils and it runs $80. When I first purchased it, I think I got it for 60 some odd dollars. So either the prices have gone up a little bit or I had some sort of discount code that I used at the time. Anyhow, this is one of the tobacco fragrances in my collection that has lasted a while. I've had a lot of tobacco fragrances come in and out, and this one is sort of tried and true. It is a very, very, very rich tobacco fragrance. Spices at the top, undefined on the website. And in the heart, this Bulgarian tobacco absolute. And the base, vanilla and cedarwood are the notes that the perfumer has listed for the public to see. I definitely would say this is a heavy tobacco fragrance, but I love that it is rounded off with the sweetness of vanilla and definitely has some of the spiciness that a lot of people associate with fall tobacco, you know, spicy types of fragrances. This is really like a super delicious, delicious tobacco. If there's such a thing as a gourmand tobacco, this might fall into that category. And it has great projection. This is one that you are going to smell way out in the air, and it's going to last you a long time. The few times that I've used this, I've worn this maybe 3 or 4 times since I purchased it. It lasts all day. I spray it in the morning and it's dinner time and it's still going strong. So this little thing will last you quite a long time. So check out not only Tobacco Pod from the house, but see if you can get some other samples. The whole house is a hidden gem, and this one especially for tobacco lovers. Ladies, if you want to venture deeper into tobacco territory, but you typically stay away because you imagine these really masculine scents in your mind, get a sample of this from the website and see what you think. Next, although people have heard about this house and maybe they've heard about this fragrance, I'm just going to sneak it in here because I believe it's still kind of a hidden gem. And that is from the Merchant of Venice. And this is Andalusian Soul. Andalusian. Beautiful ombre effect here on the bottle. These are hand blown, if I'm not mistaken, if that matters to you. And I love that this is a vanilla fragrance. Yes, it's like yet another vanilla fragrance here in the fall and winter months. I also, though, love that this is heavy on the rum, a boozy, and ambery aspects. It's supposed to have, I guess I kind of get it, a little bit of an incense facet to it. I will say that some people think that this smells like Play-Doh, so keep that in mind. Yes, it has a little bit of a Play-Doh thing if you focus on that mentally, but more than anything, a vanilla, boozy, ambery fragrance that I think is just lovely here for the winter months. Has amazing projection and longevity. This one will take you through the whole day. Beautiful performance, super cozy, super sensual and sensuous, and just lovely. Gorgeous bottle if that matters to you. So check this one out. And you can get this on a variety of sites on discount. The Merchant of Venice prices can be a little bit high. So right now it's on sale. The smaller bottle, 1.7 ounce on Fragrance Net for $55. The bigger size bottle, this for $102, just about. You can also get it on Joma Shop. The big full-size bottle is on there for $85. And then Max Aroma has the little bottle for $70. So anyway, you can Google the fragrance and look at the shopping tab up top. Go to the shopping tab and see what your best bet is. If you use Joma Shop, check out that link below and grab yourself this one. And for snow, and I think you can also get Sparkle on Joma Shop if you want to do like a one-stop type of thing. So then let's go to a house that everyone has heard about, but you've heard about number 5 and number 6, and now number 3 and number 4 are starting to get some shine, but no one's talking about Rosendo Mateu number 7. Now, it tells you right on the bottle what the perfumer really wants you to pick up. Patchouli, oud, and vanilla. So, friends, this is a heavy hitter. This one goes on all day. This one projects. This is one of the most luxurious fragrances that I have in my collection. It smells grand. It smells sexy. It smells self-assured and confident. It smells like old Hollywood glamour to me. This is one for those of you that are constantly complaining, because you are, and I hear you and understand why, that fragrances today just aren't what they used to be back in the 70s and 80s, and maybe even into the 90s. This is one you definitely want to get your nose on, and you want to allow it to develop on you. That's the important thing. This one sprays out a little bit rude, okay? You do get a heaping dose of a really, what I call a very sort of soft, fuzzy patchouli. I wouldn't say it's a dirty, earthy patchouli. It is soft and elegant. The oud in here, there's 2 different types of oud in the fragrance. For those of you that care, to be precise, Thai oud and Laotian oud. For me, the combination of patchouli and oud in the fragrance give this incredible depth. I'm talking about like Mariana's Trench deepness, elegance, staying power. This would be such a beautiful special occasion scent. It is daring. It is not predictable. If you want to understand what a fragrance smells like before you buy it, no. But for those of you that want something different, unique, you don't mind something that's a bit of a gender bender type of fragrance, this could go either direction. I could see anyone of any orientation loving this fragrance if they want something daring, Hollywood glam, strong, unique, sexy, beautiful. The vanilla gives it just this beautiful sweetness. There's supposed to be some floral and some sweet notes and some spices in the fragrance also. But if you think about the combination of a soft, almost like velvety, fuzzy, smooth, buttery patchouli and oud combination with that beautiful sweetness and sensualness, sensuousness from vanilla, that might give you some sense of what this smells like. I think this is one of the most unique ones in my collection and an unsung hero from the Rosendo Mateu line. Some of y'all are going to think this fragrance smells because you're just not into something that smells this unique. Pricing. Fragrance Nut has this for under $150. You can get it on Scent Split for the full $225 if you would like. Lucky Scent also has this full price. Okay, another powerhouse fragrance, and this one is rather androgynous in terms of whether it leans one direction or another. I could see people thinking it smells feminine. I could see people thinking that it smells masculine. It's on the pricey side. This is Trish McAvoy X Eau de Parfum. This one is for 100 mils. Excuse me, this is 50 mils. Ay, 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 $275. Whoa. I purchased mine secondhand off of Mercari, a woman in New York. Didn't want it, and she sold it brand new in box to me. You can get this on sale on Nordstrom as of the day that I'm posting this for $233. And just check any of those sites, Saks Fifth Avenue, Bloomingdale's, Bergdorf Goodman, and see when they're having sales, and then check out this fragrance. This fragrance smells a little bit like the bottle looks. For me, it's a combination of, is it called Crimson Rock from Amouage? I have that fragrance too way upstairs. That, the rose and the cinnamon, the spicy rosiness of that fragrance combined with Side Effect from Initio and a little bit of Oud for Greatness all sort of smashed together into one. Some of the notes that stand out to me are saffron. So there's that sort of airiness and almost like a soft leathery nuance from the saffron that isn't deep into the animalic leather direction. A soft, very soft lavender. There is a soft rose and cinnamon, sandalwood, and amber. It's a very ambery fragrance, especially in the dry down. Really a heavy hitter for the winter. One that is, deep into the fall, into the winter time. Very sexy, beautiful, warm fragrance. The website describes it as recreating the magic of a loved one's embrace. That maybe is a little bit much. This isn't what I picture a loving embrace to smell like, but it is what I picture a self-assured, very sexy, confident person smelling like deep into the winter. This would make a great party fragrance for your New Year's Eve, for Christmas. There's enough spice for it to be associated with Thanksgiving and Christmas, and enough sophistication for it to be a New Year's Eve fragrance. Deep, it's strong, it's projecting. So think of saffron and spices and a little bit of rose and a heavy dose of amber as standing out here. I'm gonna end with an honorable mention. This is on my husband's shelf, and it's honorable mention because it's a masculine scent, and a lot of you may not be into that. But for those of you that are daring, either one, you can get this for your guy if you're a lady and don't mind masculine scents so long as they're beautiful. Friends, let me put you on to Cremo Palo Santo. This is an eau de toilette. Don't let that fool you. This thing performs nuclear beast mode. Hubby puts this on in the morning and it goes through the evening. It is one of the most intoxicating scents, in my opinion, on his shelf. I can't say that I reach for this often because I have my own scents that are in this direction. If I didn't, this would be one that would also be on my shelf. Super affordable. It's on the Cremo website right now at $23.48 for this huge 100 ml bottle. And you can see that he's making his way through this pretty tough. Guys, this is a man that sprays 2 or 3 times max, okay? And he has a pretty big collection for a non-fragrance lover. And he's put a dent in this one because he knows that I love it. This is intoxicating to me. It is very much in the Santal 33 direction. Some people have purchased this off of my recommendation and they've gotten the pickle thing. So if you're a person that gets pickle from sandalwood, you may get pickle from this. I don't get any pickle. I don't know what those people are talking about, but I know it's that thing. So I want to respect that and just share that for those of you that are prone to smelling pickle when you smell sandalwood. Palo Santo is a different type of wood than sandalwood, but they are very, very similar. I would say the main difference is that sandalwood can tend to be a little bit smoother and softer, and sandalwood can sometimes smell very creamy in fragrances. This Palo Santo is dry in a beautiful way. It is a dry, woody scent with spices. The website for Cremo lists cardamom as a key spice in here. I would not pick out cardamom, but it's definitely woody and spicy. Not Old Spice, friends. This ain't your 1980s Old Spice, okay? Nothing close to that. This is sex appeal in a bottle. This is, for me, one of the sexiest fragrances that my husband wears. I think this would be very sexy on a woman as well. super performance and long lasting, and for a whopping under $24 for the big bottle. You can't beat that with a stick. With a stick. In fact, I'm looking at this whole collection, and probably all of the ones that I mentioned, this one, the number 7 from Rosendo Mateu, would be my top like winter pick among them. And this one rivals this in terms of its beauty, its sophistication. No one's going to know that you have a 20-something dollar fragrance on. So I'd love to hear from you. What did you think of this lineup? Do you agree that they are hidden gems if you have tried them? Is there anything that you would add that's in any of these categories? Thank you so much for hanging with me, especially as I'm testing out my new filming location here. How did we do with the space? And I will see you in the next video. Take care, friends.